Yo, what's good guys? It's your boy Fuji. I'm coming out with a video today showing you a bunch of gun builds that I've been building and just showing you the wide variety that you have right now in Escape from Tarkov. If you didn't already know, Escape from Tarkov recently had a buff to all weapons with a 15% recoil deduction. So most builds, you can have multiple different parts, run it however you want, and it's still gonna have a pretty good feel. Speaking of the buff, if you didn't already know, I did put out a short about it when BSG tweeted out about it. So be sure to be checking out for my shorts for up-to-date things on Escape from Tarkov. I'm being serious. Check it out. Alright, so moving on to the weapons. Sure, I got the RD and the Mutant and the M4, which are all common things, but tell me when you have seen an AK-103 like ever be used. I have this thing at 54 recoil with 600 RPM. It's relatively cheap as well. Just for the build I have here, it costs 183,000 rubles just from all traders. Of course, you need to have a little bit of higher standing, but even when you go through the flea market, it's even cheaper. It's about 20k cheaper, maybe even sometimes less. Stuff like this just gives you a more wide variety on Escape from Tarkov to be able to build whatever you want. Because say if I wanted to change out some stuff, hey, maybe I want to take off this VS combo, put on a Troy, which is probably better, and go full recoil reduction and put on a RK2 at 51 recoil, 61 ergo still. You go look it up. I know this is probably gonna be pretty expensive since this rail is never found. Yeah, you'd need the rail, but you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. Like say you go back to one of these, put on an aggressor, and then mess around and put this on. Like, when do you ever see that grip on? And put on the flashlight you still need, even though flashlights are bugged if you didn't know. So be sure to take them off if yours do get bugged. Like, look at this build: 69 ergo, 56 vertical recoil, and you're getting, and you're just around the same price point at 168,000 rubles. Like, you get to swap out whatever you want and everything's gonna be around the same price on most guns, at least. Some guns, you know, I ain't gonna talk about the M4 and stuff. Some of those stuffs get really expensive, but you know, you get to swap out whatever you want, put on maybe something else here. Let's see, let's make it look cool. Look at this, another build that I know that grip's gonna be another probably like 42k onto this build, but you can always just swap it out, put on the AFG black or even an RVG, and you got 79 ergo, 59 recoil, and like, you come look at the price and it's 152,000 for just around the same stats on a 103. That's just an AK 103. Let's move on to a different weapon. All right, next weapon we got is the M4. This one, you can have a lot of fun with it. There's a lot of parts you can put on here. Like right now, I got the Ultra 5 suppressor and the skeletized grip and all this other stuff, and I got 43 recoil. But let's say I completely change the barrel and do all this other stuff, and look at this build that I got, and a tan M4 that kind of looks pretty cool. 41 recoil, 56 ergo. When have you seen a lower barrel M4 with better recoil stats? Tell me. I still have a suppressor on it. It's a shorty, so it won't get banged up on walls when you're doing CQB. You could run the hollow, you could run a scope if you really wanted to. It's all personal preference. You come over here and you look at the price. You know, it's a little bit expensive, but you get that customization that everybody's always wanted. But whenever it comes down to it, things are too expensive for just a little bit more, you know. And and the last one was more expensive probably because I had the Gen 3 on it. Yeah, change this Gen 3 back to a regular M4 receiver. There you go, mess around with whatever suppressor you want. You can go all tan, still 47 recoil. That's not terrible. Like, if we're being completely honest, it's not terrible, especially when that suppressor is relatively cheaper than the others at 24,000. The gas system here is 84, so let's change that out. I would rather go ergo, so put on the low profile, go on here, and then look, 55,000. 55,000 for a cool little tan thing here. And usually if you're changing the receiver, that's when it gets pretty expensive, but you don't even really have to. You really do not even have to. Like the Mur and the Gen 3 are probably the ones that you'll want if you want max recoil reduction, but you know, when it comes down to those 1 or 2 recoil stats, if you're just trying to build a gun that looks cool and whatnot, don't even worry about it, because customization like this hasn't been around in Tarkov for a while. Put on the Thor, back to 42 recoil. Like, it's just a pick and choose, go to the Ultra 5, 44 recoil. It's all these suppressors here that they have, like the Saker, which people would run 42 recoil, but even then you can just use something cheaper like the Ultra 5 and it's 2 more recoil, and it doesn't make that much of a difference. Go to this 46, a tan suppressor, it matches, you know. Go on to this one 48. You pick and choose what you want. You can pick and choose what you want. They're relatively around the same price. You can even screw around and run it loud. Run it loud, do whatever you want, and it'll still be fun. Run it loud, and you got 49 recoil for a loud build. I personally wouldn't run it loud unless you're using like the jailbreak variant, but let's move on to a different weapon. The next weapon I want to talk about, look at this HK. Looks pretty basic, yeah, looks pretty basic, but has 48 vertical recoil, 46 ergo. You got a suppressor, you can pick and choose whatever you want, choose whichever you want. I usually pick the Ultra 5, it's usually the best bang for your buck, but you can screw around, put on the Thor, 46, 42, you know? Switch it up and go on to a SDN, 48, 44. Some of these get pretty long, and I'm like, maybe not, because just the length on them. And the Ultra 5 is usually a little shorty, you know? You come here, you got a HK, 197,000 ruble. 200k for an HK, and it has pretty good stats. I'll take it. I ain't complaining. And most of it comes down to which sight you choose and which suppressor you run. If you do choose to run a suppressor, like I said, you can run it loud. Run it loud, and it ends up usually being cheaper. But I personally like a suppressor myself. A gun that you probably haven't even thought about using ever since it came out, when it was pretty, you know, underwhelming, is the HK G36. Run the G36. You can give it a shot. I say give it a shot. If you don't like it, don't try it. Like, whatever, you just don't use it again. But when you come out here and you're switching the barrel on this thing and doing whatever, I personally go 318. 318's it's not too long. You get good recoil stats. Switch this to the G36 variant, G36C variant. Put on whatever you want. Sometimes I like this little look of a little red dot on it, you know. Put on a little red dot. You got your gas block. Put on the rail. You could do something like this. Put on whatever sort of muzzle you want. Saker. Oh, that's not that. Put on a Saker, 41, 30.5 with 41 recoil. Horizontal 139, not terrible, but you just look at this and you go look at the prices of what you need. I got a little bit more of expensive build here just because I have the grip here that's pretty expensive in the suppressor, so let's swap it out. We got 30.5 ergo, 41 recoil. Let's swap this out for a... Let's try out a Thor. Let's put on a Thor. Where is it? PSR. Whoops. PSR. Put on the suppressor. You got still that 41 recoil, a little bit less ergo, but take that off. Go on to this AVG. You got 42 recoil and 27.5 ergonomics. You go check your fine parts, check the price out, and you're at 188,000. You know? And that just comes down to whatever you can do for the cheaper price, and it's all around the same stats. 48 recoil, 39.5, and usually this suppressor here is pretty cheap, I think. 136, 141,000 ruble for a G36. And you can just shoot M856A1. M856A1 is perfect with a high firing gun like a G36, an M4, all that stuff. I'll do one more example. Switch it back to a, where is it? I'll go back to my go-to, the Ultra 5. Go to the Ultra 5, 43 recoil, 31.5. And you go check out the price, 166,000. So ended up being that that monster suppressor there was a little bit better on the price, and you get just the same stats. You got a lot of, you know, you get to customize more. You don't get stuck putting on the same crap every single raid. You get to pick what you want. You get to have fun with what you have and just enjoy Tarkov the way it should be. I'll show you one more gun here, and this is gonna be a pretty controversial gun because this AUG, when it came out, it was terrible. It probably still is, just because the horizontal recoil, but you know, let's just check it out. Did you put on, I like putting on a hollow or a red dot on this. Red dot kind of looks nice, honestly, if I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. All you need to do is, this gun practically comes already ready, just like the MDR. You go on here, you pick out what sight and what muzzle. That's it. What sight and what muzzle, and you're done. Go on the Ultra 5, 44 recoil, 40 ergonomics, 141 horizontal. You go check the price, and you're out here with 162,000 for just around the same stats. I know the stats don't match up gun to gun.
Bro, I'm really about to get your pickle chin now, boy.
I know the stats don't match up gun to gun, but when you're looking at stuff like this, having your ergonomics high and your recoil relatively low, if you're any good shooter in Escape from Tarkov, you'll be fine. Trust me. You can run this thing loud, 61 ergo, 46 recoil, and you got a gun that's 130,000 ruble. 130,000 ruble. You'll get some money back because you're swapping out some parts. You're gonna take that barrel off. You're gonna take that top rail off, sell it, maybe get what would you get? Probably, maybe, I would say maybe 15,000 off that. 15,000 off that. 115,000 for a fully functioning AUG that, honestly, the recoil stats aren't that bad. You get more variety in your gameplay. You get to not stare at the same gun, just living the same raid over and over and over again, which I know that's what kind of burns people out on Escape from Tarkov. That's how I got burnt out. But stuff like this, where they do the 15% recoil buff on all weapons, it gives you a wide variety now. You get to do whatever you want. And I just realized you don't even need to spend this money here for this barrel. 100,000 ruble. And like I said, you're still getting 15,000 back, probably from that rail and that muzzle. That is huge. That is like $80,000 for a 5.56 weapon where you can just shoot M856A1 and you'll be fine. You'll kill anything you see. Well, if you hit your shots, of course, but you know what you know what I'm saying. You get what I'm trying to say here. You have wide variety. This is the best time to play Tarkov right now. I don't know if next wipe this 15% buff will be around, what the stats will look like, because Nikita was talking about in that Tarkov TV stream that they're going to be reworking recoil over time. So it's going to be a whole rework, rehaul, whatever you want to talk about. They're going to reimagine it, do it differently on the new system. So if you're getting burnt out on Tarkov, this is the time to try out new weapons, have some fun. Don't live the same raid over and over and over again. I was in the Escape from Tarkov LFG just recently, and people are telling me, why are you running this on your gun? You should be running this. People are stuck on running the meta, the same couple things, and just living with it. It gets boring, honestly. It gets real boring, real exhausting. It burns you out in the game. And quite honestly, it's pretty lame of the community to just not acknowledge that they have a wide variety of things to use here. I know some things are kind of out of the norm with like pricing and all this other stuff. So like that's something the economy of Tarkov needs to, you know, fix. But stuff like this is a good sign for the game. You get more variety, and they're only going to be adding more and more weapons. You know, they're only going to be adding more and more weapons. Stuff like this is good. We all need to take advantage of this customization that we have here and enjoy the game that we have. All right, but I've gone on a bit on a tangent here. I just wanted to get my point across that customization right now is better than ever in Escape from Tarkov. Build, you got plenty of builds that you can have for weapons. Regardless of what you use, stats are going to be relatively low. It's already coming to end wipe, so people already you probably already have plenty of ruble. Just go out there, have some fun, build guns that you've never tried before, and just give it a shot. I don't know what else to say. Just go have fun, honestly. But that's all I really have to say here in this video. It's been your boy Fuji. I hope this video was helpful in any way. If you didn't know about the 15% recoil buff, like I said, be sure to check my shorts out. I'll be having shorts out for anything Escape from Tarkov update related, you know. Try to keep the guys updated, you know. If you enjoyed the video that I got together here, please make sure to leave a like. Consider subscribing for more from me. I'm going to be having more Escape from Tarkov content in the future, as well as other games coming soon, pretty soon. So be on the lookout. I hope you all have a fabulous day. Take care and peace.